We've got a very special guest. Alex Scott with a brand new book, How Not to Be Strong. An invincible working in the laundry room.
Wow, you're going to think I'm crazy, but...
Alex the footballer becomes Alex the TV pundit.
Life is funny sometimes. My face is just everywhere. There it is.
Hi and welcome along to AFTV. We've got a very special guest in the building today. You can know she's special because she's up on our legends board right there. You see behind her.
I'm like, come on.
That's the board of legends and you're on it.
I feel honoured.
Alex Scott with a brand new book, How Not to Be Strong. Now, Alex, you know what? First of all, before we get stuck into it, right? I saw the title of the book first of all. I was like, How Not to Be Strong. I'm like, Alex Scott, strong black woman, like in everything she's done that I've followed your career, she's always been strong. And I know to make it as a woman footballer, you have to be strong, right? So why not be strong? But as I read through the book, I started to understand what you're talking about. And I have to say, this book is a very emotional book. This book is like, it's an exceptional book. It really is. It is beyond just football. And it kind of maps out your career. From footballer to broadcaster, the face of, you know, you're on Match of the Day, you're on Football Focus, you're on everything now. It even talks about when you was on Strictly, you know what I mean? It's just got everything in the book. It's good. And wow, what a journey it's been. What a journey. Let's start from the beginning.
Go on.
Cage football in Tower Hamlets, where you grew up. That's where it all started from. You got spotted by Arsenal.
Yeah, and straight away, look, I'm smiling because those memories that, yes, it was a rundown cage, you know, we're still surrounded. It's like by the A13 and a road, and if the ball would go outside the cage, a car would come over and pop the ball, and then your football game would be over. You'd have to start again the next day. But there's so many memories, and, you know, that... I don't know, community and how raw football was there. It weren't no like free passes, you know, you got to earn your place in the football cage, and that's how actually I had to take that into all my football career. It was about earning my place the whole way through. And it's that familiar story that I hear from a lot of women footballers, especially from your era, about having to play with the boys. I want to have it any other way. You had to play with the boys. And, you know, it's really interesting that after the Euros, Ian Wright was talking about, you know, allowing girls to play in schools and stuff like that. But literally in those days, to make it, to get even yourself noticed, you had to play with the boys, didn't you? Of course, like, and it wasn't the same like how Whitey was saying. Yeah, that's the stuff that needs to change, the school curriculum and allowing, you know, we need a different view of PE, period. That it matters, sport is bigger. It's about communication, the sense of discipline within sport. It can give children so much more. But I think, how you said, it was a going home and changing quickly into my shorts and getting into that football cage to earn my place. Not just, I'm Ronnie Scott's little sister, or, I'm a girl. No, I'm earning my own way. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to show you my skills and be accepted. And the other thing that we found unbelievable, right, it blew me away, right, was that, especially with the job that you do now, you were dyslexic in those days. You still am. And even when you grew up, you could, you know, when you was younger, you found it hard to communicate with people. So, which I find very difficult to... I do. That's why I actually laugh at myself, whether I'm on TV or anything, because that person, you know, to be on TV and speak in front of millions, and there's times where I stumble on my words or my brain moves so fast and sometimes I can't articulate or where sounds come from. I just think of that girl that, you know, go back in the past, she couldn't even speak, you know, had to spend years in speech therapy just to try and get me to communicate, and now that's my job, you know. It's just like really like the world, and that's why, like, I'm quite a spiritual person, you know. There's a plan for you. Yeah, one of the amazing things in this book, right, that I didn't know, and of course you go on, you start playing for Arsenal. I do. You know, and what I found really interesting is when you was at Arsenal at first, it wasn't a great time for you, was it? I mean, you know, you was overlooked a lot. You didn't really think you was getting a fair crack at the whip, and ended up having to leave to go to Birmingham. And I think, do you know what? I think that's when people read the book, they'll understand the journey that I've been on, because everyone knows Arsenal's my home. I describe it like that. I love it. I am Arsenal through and through. And they just see that as a success journey. Like everything has been great. You know, they see the trophies that I've won. But actually, when you strip it all back, they didn't believe in me. You know, and here was a kid that signed to Arsenal, and it was my home and it was my escape from what was going on in the early chapters in there. I just wanted to be accepted, you know, and that constantly having to fight and to battle. And I suppose some people will look and be like, yeah, she's had free spells. Why did she have those free spells? Well, when reading the book, you'll understand that. And actually, there's still like, even I go into myself, it was easier to write it than actually sit here and speak about it, because I view those people that gave me tough times. They've done so much for women's football. And that's what I always go back to. But then actually, if you strip it away and how sometimes I was treated in that, not very nice.
Yeah, I found that surprising, your relationship with Vic Akers and stuff like that. But you went to Birmingham for the Birmingham sort of, you know, they had their bit of a revolution, and that changed things for you, because all of a sudden you changed position, you became that right back. Who was I used to love watching you play, the way you used to get up and down the pitch. And you spoke about in the book how you worked on your fitness to become the fittest player out there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You go from an environment, and I wouldn't change it, because actually, if Vic wasn't that tough, or didn't if he would have believed in me and like treat me how he did some of the other players, I maybe might not have had that mental toughness, you know, to progress then even. But then I went to Birmingham, and Marcus Bignot straight away. I had someone that was telling me how great I am, and then straight away I've got this feeling of, I need to prove Marcus that he believes in me. Now I need to do everything for Marcus, you know. And then, I remember one game he played me right back. He was like, "Oh, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to play you right back this game." He was a right back for QPR. And he was just like, just don't overthink it. Just you get up and down and play your game. And that's when Hope Powell saw me playing that game and called me into England.
Got into the England team.
Yeah.
And then you was picked, you know, picked for England. You start to have this unbelievable England career, you know, and then you go back to Arsenal, and then you win everything. That's why you're there. You win everything. Invincible. I mean, we talk about, all the time we talk about the Invincibles, we always talk about the men. But you guys were invincible as well. The women were invincible. Not only were you invincible, you won the quadruple, you won the Champions League, you won everything.
We won it all. And that's where, when we go back to Vic, like, I have the utmost respect for that man, because he had a vision. He was the one, along with David, knocking on doors to be like, no, we need to invest what we can into the women's team. We can progress and change perceptions. And Arsenal, at the time, Arsenal ladies, we've always been the first to lead the way and change that. And that was down to Vic to, well, you know, this is the Arsenal motto. This is what we're going to do with the women. We're going to turn up in a coach. We're going to have the best kit that we can, even though it's passed down from the men. Because if you look the part, you're going to play the part. There were so many aspects that we took from the men's game when the women's game was still frowned upon. But because Vic was that kit man and had that Arsenal, he taught us so many of those values that have always stuck with us.
Even though that, though, I was quite surprised in reading the book, right? Even though all those things were done probably ahead of the game with a lot of other teams. I was shocked when I was reading in the book that I used to see you those times, right? I watch loads of your games. I see you win the FA Cup at Wembley. I see all these games. So I'm reading in the book now, I'm saying, you're working in the laundry room part-time. You're having to work that and do another job, plus Arsenal. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
I thought you was like full-on professional at that time. It wasn't until you end up going to America you become full-on professional.
Yeah, that was the first time in 2009.
I was shocked.
Yeah. And I suppose writing it all down, people then, I suppose especially after the magical summer and people just coming into the game now and they hear you talk about the growth of the women's game and they don't fully understand the extent, but how you said that, I was working in the Arsenal laundries.
And invincible working in the laundry room.
Yeah, literally there you have, you've just won a trophy and then on the Monday you're back in scrubbing the men's pants, you know? And then straight away in my mind, it's just what it is because I've got that survival instinct that, well, I need to be back in one, I can't let anyone down or not turn up to work because who would I think I am just because I've won a trophy, you know, and I need that to be paying my bills and pay petrol to even get to Highbury, you know, for training. So it's all like putting everything into context.
It's unbelievable. When I was reading that and then, you know, coming right up to date till I start to realise, I mean, obviously you are a pioneer, you and all those women who were playing in those times, you're a pioneer for the game. And I remember watching when England, the Lionesses, won the Euros and how happy you were.
Yep.
And you had tears and everything.
Crying like a baby.
And I actually
now I've learned how not to be strong. Cry.
But, you know, I actually, when I read the book, I was like, wow, that is why. Obviously, I know why, because you've one of the pioneers, but I'm like, you've gone through all that for those girls that are coming through now, those ladies that are coming through now, to be able to be on that platform. I mean, yeah, it must have been a moment.
And do you know what, even when you say it like that, I've only played a small part. There's so many others that have worked behind the scenes. When you mention people, Hope Powell, you know, I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. There's people that come way before me that were still doing it to, you know, allow me a path to where I was to then take it on to the next level. So I've played only a small part, but I suppose what those emotions at Wembley was that what everyone had worked so hard. We always had a vision and the belief that one day, you know, hopefully one day in our lifetime we might see that happen. And there it is. And now there's no excuse for anyone to make this game go backwards. It's about always now pushing forward because you can see it there.
I mean, the growth is, I mean, we saw, you know, just the other week, Arsenal, you know, we covered it, we covered the North London derby. New record,
do you know
50-odd thousand.
Vinay, just put it into context, Vinay messaged me, chief exec, after the game, and he had a same moment. He was like, do you know what, to be sat there and see Arsenal once again, who have always led the way, break the record, the crowd, to have it done at the Emirates, to have our England captain, Leah, playing on the pitch, player of the tournament, Beth Mead, get a standing ovation the whole way. That gave me goosebumps.
Love that.
He's like, and then Alex, then I looked down and the game's live on BBC One and our former Arsenal captain is presenting the game. He was like, that's when I just sat there and had a moment and was like, look at this. Amazing. And when he texted me that, it gave me a moment, because sometimes I don't process things or put things into context. And then when I read that message from him, I was like, Vinay, He's like,
No, it was incredible. It was incredible. That was incredible. The Lionesses was incredible. And as I said, and you, part of your journey in this book is you went to play in America, where, you know, they've been setting that example for a long time. I mean, I remember being over in America in Colorado when Arsenal was on tour over there, right? And they had, like, when I was going up to the stadium, they had some women's game going on. I don't know if you was over there at the time, but they had like a women's tournament going on. And they must have had at least 50 games going on with girls from all over the US. I was like, it's huge here.
Huge.
You know? So it must have been a great experience playing in America.
And I think that's where the full circle moment happened at Wembley, especially seeing Chloe Kelly do that celebration which Brandy Chastain did back in '99. Yes. When the 99ers won the World Cup, that was their moment. It changed everything for the US team, and that's why they've always led the way and been ranked #1, because they made things happen. They changed laws, they changed everything, and were so progressive and so far forward, and we've always been playing catch up. And then you fast forward now, the amount of investment that's gone into women's football was to that moment to allow that to happen at Wembley. And now that 99ers moment is the Lionesses moment, that now, that's what I'm saying, women's football can only progress. There's no way we can allow it to go back. No, and we can be top for so many years now. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And then, you know, listen, successful football career. Yeah. A lot of people now, there'll be young people out there who only know you from Strictly and only know you from all the stuff that you're doing on TV. You retire from football, you speak about that big decision that you had to make. Yeah. And I had an Arsenal contract on the table for me. Yeah. You know, to mentally decide that, no. Do you know what, it was David told me something, David Dean from Arsene Wenger, about it's like a key thing for him. And I know obviously his last period at Arsenal, but a key thing was knowing either when to move players on or knowing, listening to your gut. And that's one of the chapters. And there was something in that here I've got a contract in front of me, but actually that's me taking a comfortable decision and staying in a comfort zone, because guaranteed contract, need to pay my mortgage. But actually I knew there was no more at the time that I could do. I was captain, and it'd be selfish for me as a captain to stay on and not let another player develop and either take that role. Like I'd done all I could for Arsenal, and I knew I needed to hand the baton back to somebody else.
They're helping the right back that's going to take over your place. I'm going to believe that in the book as well.
Yeah.
I was like, you're too nice, you know what I mean? But no, it was brilliant. And the other thing that was great in the book is that, like, as you retired, you got an MBE. It was like,
I know.
On the same day, was that right? I think that's
what
crazy.
I'm saying. Life is funny sometimes, and you just got to listen to either the signs of what's going on around you or just the plan. I remember, the story, I suppose, that's the thing that no one knows. No one knows in the book as well. My first England game, what was going on in my life right then, because you put on a front. How you said the day that I retired, what was going on in my life. It's all detailed.
Yeah, I don't even want to go into all of that because I want people to read the book.
Yeah.
It's so deep. I mean, I'm like, wow. I'm reading it. I'm like, what? Wow, all that was going on.
Yeah, but you think if we talk about real life, though, Robbie, the thing is, we all go through stuff, right? And we all we're all surviving out here, trying to get through obstacles and navigate our path and carry on. And sometimes all of us put on a front because we're all just trying to do that, And I suppose that's been the perception of me, like you said. So this is actually me just peeling back all of that and telling you what has really gone on in my life beyond really Alex the footballer,
And then Alex the footballer becomes Alex the TV pundit.
Yes.
And again, incredible story. And I remember when you first started off, I remember we did something with you here back in the day. That's when you had Jim Irwood as your manager. And you was doing, I think you was doing the YouTube thing.
The thing is, you know what as well? Because like I had a vision, or I knew the path. So even you saying like Jim Irwood, who I was with at the time, like I knew I was with someone at the PFA. I'd come back from America. I'm signing up, doing my degree. Oh, okay, no, I need to navigate here. I by chance met Jim. I was like, Jim, I'd already been working for BBC. Like I've just always had this path and this vision, and like everyone that's either come into my life has played a part, and then I'm on to a next chapter or here, but I never forget everyone that's been on this journey with me, and because they've all played a part, whether it's been for a long time or a little time, they've all played their part.
And again now, pioneer number 2, stage number 2, pioneering again. Now as a TV pundit, a black woman TV pundit. Now, there ain't many of them around. You even speak in the book how, Graham Souness pulled you to one side and said, I didn't really think you'd make, but I have to give you your credit. You're great. Now, I loved, and I love even now seeing you on TV as a black, strong woman, right? And
thank you.
But some of the stuff you had to go through, I mean, you talk about Lord Digby Jones, how he the comment that he put and how that affected you, and like, all of the negative stuff that you've had. I mean, how you've come through, that's been unreal.
I suppose I went into this area in this field. I didn't know either the impact I'd be making on other people seeing me there, or the scale of everything, or the enormity of me just sitting in a chair, because here was someone that, I followed my first passion, and I'm just lucky. I always say it's the 3 Ps, I just followed a passion that then became my profession, then actually it turned into my purpose, impacting people and everything. I was just there going into a field because I love to talk about football. I didn't know that so many people would be hating on that or couldn't understand it, where you've got someone who's so passionate and just want to talk about is in a job that she loves doing. And I didn't have the realization of both sides, that how it could impact people, seeing me sitting there as a female, black, and the representation, and then the other side of it, the hatred, the racism and everything. And it was just putting all of that together and understanding the impact that it was having and affecting me. And I suppose I never dealt with it, because it was just like, I've got to show up and do my job tomorrow. I've got to show up. I can't let anyone think that I'm weak. I can't handle this. We go again. I don't tell anyone. And it was one day I wrote in the book that I was coming back on a bike from my mum's during lockdown, and then 2 black women in Wapping were shouting my name, really shouting my name. I was like, what? What's going on? I clearly need to stop. And they were saying at the time, when I was in a lot of the One shows, they was like, we love seeing you on the One show. And they were just like, gave me the nod and was like, keep going. And then it was that moment I just rode off on my bike, and I realised it's bigger than me.
It's bigger than you. is bigger than you, and you know, you've been inspirational with that, and you know, there's so much more to get into in this book, right, that I'm not even going to do, because I want people to go and read the book. The chapter on your mum, right, who I know you love your mum. I remember being at the Football Blacklist Awards and I met you there, and you introduced me to your mum, right, lovely lady, right, and the chapter on your mum, I have to admit now, I had a tear in my eye, man. That's how do you do that to me, man? I was trying to be strong. You made me not be strong.
That was a moment as well at the Blacklist Awards, because here we are, and it's amazing, the celebration and everyone there, and I was like, Mum, you're coming with me. And straight away she's like, I can't come, it's not for me as a white woman. And I was like, no, Mum, when people understand, I was like, everything that you've done in my life has made me the strong woman, or being able to get to where I am right now. And I also, yes, the celebration was about me, but I need to be celebrating you on that stage. And I think everyone in the room, like, they gave her a standing ovation and realising that moment.
Yeah. It's incredible, man. That chapter has me welling up. It's really, really deep. You talk about alcoholism in the book. You talk about your relationships in the book. That's deep as well. As I said, I don't want to reveal too much, right? Time is running out. You've got to go and buy this book. But I've got to say, listen, in conclusion, right, I now understand the title, How Not to Be Strong. Basically, what you're saying is that, you know, you speak about your therapist and all that in there. You know, be you, and open up and let people know sometimes when you're having issues.
Showing vulnerability is not a weakness. Actually, you can use it to give you more power and more strength to move forward.
Yeah.
But just on the book, I have to say, which makes me feel, that is, I know I put it on my socials, the proudest thing that I have managed to achieve or do in my life. That, how you said, the speech therapy, dyslexic and everything, no one wrote that book. I did.
Yeah.
They are all my words, my chapters and my story. And it's just, now seeing it like that and people hearing and being able to share and have conversations about it, that makes me smile. And I'm just
It's an absolutely incredible book, and it's a great story. And I urge everyone to go out and buy it. I've got to ask you finally, what's next? I mean, you seem to be you've done everything. It's all done. But I'm sure you've got more to do. I mean, what's next? You're smashing everything, Bear Grylls, whatever it is in front of you, boom, you knock it down.
To be honest, I don't think I think I need to take a moment. Obviously, the World Cup's coming up, and once again, I know the scrutiny and pressure that I'm going to be under going to that. And then after that's done, I will go away somewhere and give me the sunshine on my face. And I think that's when I will just lay there and process everything that has happened this year. And then my brain will be clear enough to think, where do I go next?
There's no more scrutiny, man. You're the golden girl.
That's because you're my Gunners. I know you lot have got my back.
This is nothing to do with Gunners. You're the golden girl of punditry on TV. You're there because you know your stuff. It's got nothing to do with anything else apart from your ability. You're brilliant. You're exceptional. This book is brilliant, and I urge everyone to read this. It's inspirational.
Thank you,
Alex, man. I really want to thank you for your services to Arsenal, but also for your services in general to especially every young black girl or young girl growing up in this country. What you've done for football, what the other lionesses now are doing, it's been absolutely incredible. And just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
This book's out right now, by the way, in all shops. You can also on Amazon, obviously.
Audio, whatever format you want it is out there. My face is just everywhere. There it is.
Check it out. Alex Scott, How Not to Be Strong. And when you read the book, you'll get the title. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.